All right, everybody, and welcome into the Hayden Coker Show live here from Buffalo Wild Wings. The Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Lance Bell. Senator Lance Bell, the best man that I know, and Senator Lance Bell just happens to be the best man that he knows as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We've got a big show. We're talking about Indiana, Miami. We've got some college football a little later, or excuse me, some college basketball a little bit later on. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to try and condense it to probably around 25, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, somewhere around there. But we're going to get all this in, okay? We're going to talk college football, college basketball, and a little bit of side quest that I've got going on right now with the guys at 94.1 The River. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, guys, we've got some massive stuff brewing, okay? Let's look at the national championship game, for example. Miami versus Indiana is going to be, in what I do believe is going to be one of the best national championship games we've seen since the 2020 season, and that's over a span of time. Now, let's talk about it. Okay. Now, Miami is one of those teams that they're really good. Obviously, Carson Beck is one of those guys that can sling the ball around the field. He's also one of those guys that can be a turnover machine at times. He's been a lot better over the course of the last few games. He's been better. He had a turnover against Ole Miss, but now I think it's one of those. Now I think it's one of those times that Miami really has to lock in. This is a team. Indiana, anyways, it's a really good team defensively. Offensively, they're really good, man. They are good in every aspect of the game. Okay, so attack their secondary. If you are Carson Beck and this, if you're Shannon Dawson and this Miami offense, okay, you've got to attack the secondary here. It's going to be hard, extremely hard to run the ball here versus this Indiana team. So what I think that Miami has to go out there and do is they've got to attack the secondary. They've got to punish them. Whether you find a way to get open, maybe it's a quick out route, or maybe it's an out route maybe it's an in over the middle of the field. You've got to find a way to get your guys open, and then you have a guy at wide receiver who can certainly do it. And Malachi Tony is one of those guys who can certainly hurt you with his legs. He's going to be the main guy that you've got to rely on in this game. Okay, now you have other aspects of your game which are really good and really solid. Let's take a look at Mark Fletcher, running back from Miami. Phenomenal. Okay, but in my humble opinion, I certainly think that Miami, they have to go to the air. They have to, man. I have an immense respect for what Indiana has done on that front with their front seven. They're just a phenomenal team all around. They're extremely well built. They're extremely physical. And I don't think that Miami has what it takes to run the ball and make a difference. I just don't see that happening in this game. But if you want to turn it on the other page and you want to look at their secondary, I think that Miami can really exploit them. Malachi Tony is just one of the best in the game that I have seen this year. I think that Tony has a different gear that some of these other guys on the field don't for Miami. Now, he's not the only guy that can do it. Daniels can do it, but I think that Tony's the guy who can go out there and really make a difference. Now, of course, I can sit here and say it all I want to. I've got to see it on the field. This is a little bit different. Malachi Tony can make that difference, okay? Now, you've seen him be good in the screen game. You've seen him be good, guys, in the jet sweep. This guy is a different level of talent that I'm not going to say we haven't seen, but he's on a different level than anybody else out there. Okay, I think he's probably probably the best wide receiver on the field. No offense to Elijah Surratt. Now, you can talk about the levels of wide receiver because they are two totally different wide receivers. Surratt more of a bigger physical guy who can really just go up and get it. Tony, he could do that, but that's not necessarily what he not specializes in. But you get what I'm saying. That's not one of those things that he just goes out there and does effortlessly. That's something that Elijah Surratt can do. Now, what does Malachi Tony do? Well, like I said earlier, he's one of those guys who can do it all except for that area of the game. Okay, he's a quick guy. He's a quick slot guy, and yes, he can run under it. He can do that. but he's one of those guys that the quarterback's going to get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly, and then guess what? Malachi Tony can make a move. That's what I think of whenever I think of Malachi Tony. He's a difference maker. Of course he is. Indiana's got those difference makers too. But in Miami's certain situation here, Malachi Tony can certainly do some things in that area of the game for them that I think can really, really change the game. Okay. So now I'm gonna jump into my pick for the game, but I'm gonna do that here in a second. I'm gonna read off a few things for you because I think that you'll find these interesting, but I also think that it'll tell you a lot about the two teams playing on the field Monday night. So when it comes to opponent yards per play, guess who's got them? Miami. Opponent yards per play, Miami's got Indiana. Guess what? It's a whopping 0.1 differential, okay? Miami has it 4.5 yards per play to Miami's 4.6. All right, now let's take a look at the other one. You've got penalty yards per game. This is where Indiana absolutely smashes it. This shows their discipline, and this just shows how good of a coaching staff that they do have, okay? Indiana, yards per game given up, penalty-wise, 25.6. Miami's yards per game penalty-wise, 57.6, okay? So it's a little bit different. Indiana's a little more disciplined on when it comes to penalties and all that. But Indiana's they have a different sort of coaching staff, man. Kurt Cignetti, he's got this team on a whole other level, and I understand this is a team that people are going to gripe and complain about because they're full of 24 and 25-year-olds, really 23-year-olds, but you get what I'm saying. It's different, man. They're a lot older, they're a lot more experienced, and they have that edge on Miami in this game. Is that a bad thing? No, but that's just kind of where college athletics is right now, and these coaching staffs have went out there and they've taken advantage of that. There's nothing wrong with that. People can sit back and say all they want to, oh, Indiana's playing with a bunch of 50-year-olds on the team. They're going to be more disciplined. Well, guess what? It's just part of the game, dude. It's part of the game. I'm sorry that that's the way the NCAA has done it so far. That's the way they have these rules and set. I get it. I understand why you're mad, but that's just how it is right now. So you're going to have to get over it. Now, panties unraveled. Let's do it. Let's take a look at another one. Third down conversion percentage. All right. Miami, 46%. Pretty good. Miami, 57%. Okay, that's really good. So now I've given you three statistics. They lean Indiana's way in two of those statistics. And the first one, it's just pretty much throw it up either way. So now I've got some more for you, but I really think that now we can kind of sit back and say that, hey, look, you know what? If you look at the stat sheet, it's going to go to Indiana every single time. It just is. Miami has them in a few defensive stats. That's fine. Minutes per game. Opponent minutes per game. They got it in that too. But here's one. Let me tell you this. So, and I understand Ole Miss's defense is not as good as Indiana's defense, but it's still a stat. In the game against Ole Miss, Miami's offense was 11 of 19 on third downs. 11 of 19 on third downs. And that's impressive. That's over 50%. That's really, really good. Okay. People have got to start looking at that because if you watch the Ole Miss game, Miami, they exploited them. Ole Miss struggled on third downs. They did. Now I see all the, oh man, I see it. I've been seeing this all week. Okay. Man, Pete Golding's third down defense really showed out against Miami. Guys, come on now. Come on. Penalties, missed tackles, those happen. The missed tackles were what happened the majority of the time. And that's one of those things with the missed tackles that, for one, yes, it falls back on coaching, but at some point you've got to think, man, the player itself has to step up and make the tackle. That's not the coach making the tackle. So I can understand where you're coming from a certain standpoint, but you've also got to think that, dude, look out, dude. Come on now. It's a player that makes a tackle. Got to take a sip of the Buffalo Wild Wings sweet tea. Hydration, man. It's extremely important. And that's kind of what I'm building myself on right now, trying to find a firm foundation. And Steel 174, they do great at that, man. They do great at finding a good foundation for a house and building that foundation, building that house in general. Those guys, Daniel Welch, Dawson Welch, Bobby Welch over at Steel 174, those guys know exactly what they're doing. And I highly advise you to go over to their Facebook page, Steel 174, STEELE 174 on Facebook. You can find everything there, phone number. I think they have a website on there too. Guys, they've got it all regardless. But you can find those guys on there. They're really good. They're really good at what they do. They are built still strong, still reliable, still 174. Okay, now, shout out to Bobby Wilkes for paying our bill today. We do appreciate it. So one of the main things about this Miami and Indiana game that I've kind of looked at is, and I can go back to the Rose Bowl where the offensive line for Indiana went out there and showed out and went ahead and won MVP of the game. How about it, man? So I thought that was personally, I thought that was phenomenal. That's great work by the Indiana offensive line. That's one of the main things we got to be paying attention to here. The Indiana offensive line versus this Miami defensive line. We've got one of the best offensive lines in college football versus one of the best defensive lines in college football. Absolute units at each position. What? You got Torrey at the defensive line, or excuse me, at the linebacker position for Miami. Ruben Bain coming off the edge. Now, I think that Miami has an edge here. Okay, and I'm not saying they have their defensive line is going to gash Indiana. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, when it comes to just a sheer physicality, just the sheer physicality. Now, both sides are extremely physical. I think that Ruben Bain is the best player on the field during that time. Now, take the offensive line and defensive line into context here. That's the only ones we're talking about here. When it comes to the both offensive and defensive lines here, I think that Ruben Bain's the best defensive player on the field. He's the best player on the field, plain and simple. So I think that that's where Miami can kind of exploit this Indiana offensive line. Now, I'm not saying there's holes in the offensive line. Bear with me now. Just say, with the way that Ruben Bain plays the game, with how physical he is, with how violent he is, I'm telling you, Ruben Bain can make a difference. And he can really put Miami in a good position if he goes out there and he plays his A game. Now, let's stop for a minute. Let's take a breather. So, rehydrate, we'll say. This is insanely massive for Miami in this game. They've got to step up defensively. If they don't, they can kiss it goodbye. I mean, obviously, that's both teams. But this is a national championship game, guys. It's a national championship. Indiana, Hoosiers, Miami, Hurricanes. All right, we've got the Hoos versus the Hers. This is going to be one of those games where I'll sit in my recliner and I'll watch until the very last snap. Now, this is a blowout, okay? There's a chance that I start to get a little bored. There's a chance that I start to fall asleep in the recliner. That's just probably something that's going to happen, okay? Especially with anybody that works on a Monday. I might take a pregame. You know what? I might pregame by taking a nap. A lot of people pregame with beer. Indiana college students, Miami college students, going to pregame with some beer. Maybe a little vodka, maybe a little liquor every now and then. But I'm going to pregame with a beer. Excuse me. Sorry. No, Edie, I'm not pregaming with a beer. I'm pregaming with a nap. And that is going to be my energizer. Okay? So that's it. I'll have a Code Red Mountain Dew after. Give me hype. Now, that is what I've gathered from this game. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what Fernando Mendoza has done. Fernando Mendoza, by the way, one of the best quarterbacks in America, if not the best quarterback in America. Going into the draft this year, we're pretty positive anyways. He's going to be a high-round draft pick. He just is. But Fernando Mendoza in the playoffs. Fernando Mendoza in the playoffs as I've checked down my iPad. Let's look at this. Fernando Mendoza in college football playoff games. 31 of 36 for 364 yards, 8 freaking touchdowns, no interceptions. Guys, he's thrown more touchdowns than he has incompletions. 8 touchdowns, 5 incompletions in that entire 2-game span. Now, I understand that he's only thrown the ball 36 times. He's 31 of 36, dude. If you don't see something special about that, I don't really know what to tell you. That right there is special. That's insane. It's Thursday night here, Buffalo Wild Wings here in Pell City. We've got a game to pick here coming up. We've got college basketball to pick here coming up. I say pick. We're gonna talk about it. We got some sideline reporting to talk about. But right now it's important that we go ahead and we pick a football game. All right? Wow. I'm parched. Woo! All right. So let's really take a look at it. Let's dive into it. Statistic by statistic. No, screw that, dude. I'm making a pick here based on what I've seen so far. Not just and we could throw out the regular season at this point, okay? This is the college football playoffs. Nothing else right here matters, okay? Week 2 does not matter. Week 6 does not matter. What matters now is what these two teams have done in the college football playoff and what's led up to this very moment. Carson Beck's playing some pretty good football right now. Basketball. What? He's playing some pretty good football right now. Let's take a look at Fernando Mendoza. He's playing some exceptional football right now. Okay, I'll lean Indiana. Offensive line, I think I'll lean Indiana. Defensive line, I'll give it to Miami in this situation. I'll go Miami. Linebacker core, that's tough. I'll go with Miami, but just out of I'll go with Miami, okay? So then we're going to go 2-2, all right? Let's just take a look at defense as a whole. I think I'll go with Indiana, maybe. Can I say that after I just said what I did? What I said for Miami? I don't know. Obviously, they're toss-ups, okay? I take either defense against anybody out there. But the way that both teams play is going to be what comes into play here. Offensively and defensively, this Indiana team just mesh, okay? Miami, they've had some struggles over the year that we haven't necessarily seen on Miami's side of the football, all right? Are we going to see those key factors come into play here for Miami? Are we? Here's the thing. I think we probably will, and I think that Indiana's defense exploits Miami a little bit, okay? Now, Carson Becky's a fine quarterback. I think he'll go into the NFL and make a pretty good quarterback, whether that's a backup or not. You make it to the NFL, you're a good quarterback, okay? But I'm gonna take it here by here, okay? I've said point by point. Now it's time for me to make a pick. I'm going with the Indiana Hoosiers. The Hoosiers to win this football game, and I'm going for this reason and for this reason only. With the way that they played, they meshed so well, man. Kurt Signetti, he has the guys all on the same page. It's like there's never an argument, there's never a dispute on the field between these two teammates. And guys, even when that happens, I feel like it's more so like these guys are so experienced. They're so in tune with one another. It's just trying to argue back and forth, say, hey, look, we do this, okay? We don't do that. And that's when they come to an agreement. I'm not saying Miami's any lesser of a team. I'm just saying that with the way that Miami has played, with the way that Miami's played this year, in the playoffs, yeah, they've done a lot good. There's key things that I think that Indiana exploits, okay? I think they exploit that defense. I think that Elijah Surratt, okay? Omar Cooper Jr., Charlie Becker, Charlie B. Those guys are going to find ways to get open, and they're going to make waves for this Indiana offense. They end up winning the football game. It's not going to be just from Fernando Mendoza. It's not just going to be from Roman Hemby or Kaylon Black. It's not what's going to happen. It's not going to be just because of solely Pat Coogan and that offensive line. It is going to be a group effort, and Indiana's going to win that football game. All right. Indiana wins the 2025-2026 National Championship game in Miami, by the way, which is funny because the game's in Miami. Miami's going to be in their home locker room, their home stadium. I find that fascinating, but I think it's great, man. It's great. Steel 174 is also great, man. They can build a house. They can do it at an exceptional rate and do it quickly, too. So call the guys over at Steel 174, STEELE 174. That's Bobby Welch, Dawson Welch, Bobby Welch. They are still strong, still reliable, still 174. They got it going on. Oh, man. Let's see here. It is 7:17 on a cold Thursday night, man. And I'm not looking forward to in the morning having to wake up, warm my truck up. I don't like doing that, man. I don't like going out, getting cold, warming my truck up, coming back inside, getting cold. It's not my thing, man. Oh, man. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little sports reporting, man. I've been blessed with the opportunity to do a little sports reporting for 94.1 The River. The guys, Adam Stott, Miss Tiffany Studdard over there at 94.1 The River, they have really been great to me over the past few months. I've been working with those guys, doing a little sports reporting on the side, post-game reports, not even pre-game, but just going throughout the week. I get to go down and I get to talk to some of these fantastic coaches and fantastic players. It's just, honestly, it's one of the better atmospheres that I've seen. And I'm not just talking about one particular place, but I've seen places like Raglan the other night. I went to go see Raglan. Tough loss to Appalachian, but it's really fun to go there and see what they're building. Okay, Coach Brandon Elliott, he's doing a phenomenal job. Lucas Ford over at Raglan. Brandon Elliott, the men's head coach. Lucas Ford, the women's head coach. It's just really fun to see what those guys are doing. Coach Rebecca Davis at Moody, women's head coach. Jamari Staples, the boys' head coach at Moody. Phenomenal. Caleb Carpenter at Caleb Carpenter at Asheville. You've got Coach Brandon Easterwood at Springville. You've got Matt House with the Springville girls team, who did a phenomenal job, man. And massive shout out to Pell City's coaches as well. They've done a phenomenal job. They've done an absolutely phenomenal job at Coach Wallace, at the men's coach, and Coach Jennifer Lee, the Pell City girls coach. So it's awesome. And then seeing what Asheville's doing as well, my alma mater, it's so fun to watch what those guys are doing. Caleb Carpenter, head coach there. Guys like J.B. Potter, Dalton Rice Thompson. Those guys are phenomenal. They're good. Parker Smith. They've got some great guys over there, man. Dre Colley. So I really think Jamon Williams, I'm going to forget everybody's name. I'm going to leave somebody out. I'm going to stop. But just it is so fun to see some of those younger guys for those basketball teams put on. Some of the wrestlers, Brady Thrash over there with Asheville. It's super, super fun. Seeing Springville doing what they're doing right now, wrestling. They won I believe their region title. St. Clair County's extremely good when it comes to wrestling as well. Pell City, they're doing phenomenal as well. Got to interview with Talon McNutt the other day. So, guys, they're phenomenal, man. Got to body slam or got body slammed by Anthony Stocks over at Pell City. It's just phenomenal, man. It's such a good time, and it's so cool to connect with these guys and give those guys exposure. So I do appreciate that. Then I get to put together a little reel and, highlight myself a little bit. But the kids, the coaches, it's so fun to talk about those guys because, for one, they're doing a great job. It's just going unnoticed by a lot of people in the community. So it's good to highlight those guys and make sure people know exactly what they're doing in their respective school. So it's fun. This is the Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Les Bell. Senator Les Bell, the best man that I know. Senator Les Bell, the best man that he knows. So, man, it's phenomenal. Massive shout out to Senator Les Bell as well. Great guys, great atmosphere over there, especially in his little office. Got to go over there and hang out a little bit with some of those guys. They're really cool. Erskine Funderburg, Lance Bell, all those guys, man. Super, super fun. Shout out to Miss Smith as well. So, yeah, Santana Smith, that is. Big shout out to Adam Smith, too. What a guy. But now I want to shift my focus. So, college basketball, and I know some people may not know this name, college basketball media personality from years ago, Doug Gottlieb. So, Doug Gottlieb took over for the Green Bay Phoenix in their basketball program. I believe it was last year. They won like 4 games all year. This year, they've won 10 games already. They're 10-8 on the year. And they're 5-2 in the Horizon League. Now I'm going to get to some SEC ball a little bit later, but this is one of those guys that I really want to highlight. Doug Gottlieb, he's done a phenomenal job. He gave up his radio show early on in the year. Some great players on that team as well. But watch out for Green Bay in the Horizon League. I'm not saying that they make the tournament, but I am saying they got a chance to do so. I'm a massive fan of Doug Gottlieb. I'm a massive fan of what all he's doing over there at Green Bay in Wisconsin. So I love what he's doing, okay? And I love keeping up with the Green Bay Phoenix right now. If you have not gotten a chance to check those guys out, go check out the Green Bay Phoenix, the college basketball team. Fun to watch. They're fun to keep up with, too. So, head coach Doug Gottlieb, shout out to you, man. You're doing a great job, and I support you 100%. Now, let's move on for a second. Let's take a look at the Big 12, the SEC. Let's take a look at conference leaders. But first, I'll stop in the SEC because obviously we're an SEC-centric show, and we only care about the SEC because everybody knows we're biased. We're biased toward the SEC. That's just how we go. We don't care about any other conference. That's just how that goes. Because we're in Alabama. That's just what's going on right now. All right, Missouri, a team that's kind of coming out of nowhere. Mark Byington and the guys over at Vanderbilt. Those guys have come out of nowhere too, unbeaten on the year. Are these Vanderbilt Commodores? Florida, after a rough start to the season, they're really starting to come on strong here with a big-time win against Georgia the other day. Man, they are really starting to come on strong. So Florida's got it going on. Alabama, tough loss the other day. They're starting to get back on track, though. Tennessee, Kentucky. Those guys are all the teams that I think have a chance to win the SEC this year. They're going to be in contention later on. So I'm extremely excited to see what happens with the SEC this year. I think the race is going to come down to the last minute, more than likely, probably so. But right now, Vanderbilt is really a team to watch because, for one, they're unbeaten. And two, they've got the best record in the SEC, okay? They've got the best, well, tied, obviously. But they got tied #1 for best record in the SEC and also best record in tied best record in college basketball. So extremely excited for what they're doing over there at Vanderbilt. The Big 12, though, the Big 12 is one of those conferences that I just can't quite get a hold of, man. I understand exactly what they're doing. They're one of the best conferences in college basketball. The best conference in college basketball with the physicality, with just how they play the game. BYU, one of those teams, extremely physical, but they can go out there and they can play offense with anybody in the country. So BYU, Houston, the Cougars, man. People don't talk about the Cougs enough, and the Cougs house. Whose house is it, man? The Cougs house. That's whose house it is. People don't talk about those guys enough, man. Now, I understand there's certain people who hold them to a higher pedestal and genuinely do highlight them the way that they should be highlighted. But with the way that those guys have played this year, last year, could have won the national championship game. Went to the national championship game, lost to Florida in a game that went down to the wire. But no, man, they're one of those teams that I think they could win the Big 12 again this year. They've got it in there. Iowa State, extremely good, man, extremely good. Iowa State, I think they're right up there with Houston right now. Obviously, Houston, I believe, is just on a different level. Houston, Arizona, dude, Arizona, BYU, and Houston. Those guys are my number one teams in the Big 12. I think that Iowa State is the team that's right there behind them. They're slowly, steadily creeping up on them. They're not there yet, but by God, they could be. By God, they could be. Big Ten basketball, another one that's looking up here recently as of late. Big Ten basketball, they have a solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in contention right now. The teams I have listed we're going to 6 teams. You have Nebraska, Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois, okay? How about, hold on now, Wisconsin as well. They're right up there, guys. The Big Ten they're a deep conference this year, and I feel like that they have a legit shot to get in 10, 11, 12 teams in the tourney. The Big 12, though, is the conference that I'm watching. Now let's flip the switch a little bit. Let's take a look at the Big East, because the Big East, the Big East is a conference that, yeah, people talk about them, but they talk about UConn. How about Seton Hall? How about what Coach Holloway is doing over there? Shaheen Holloway is one of the best coaches in the Big East. I don't know about the country. He's up there, but I don't know about one of the best. But he's certainly up there. Coach Holloway, what he's doing at Seton Hall, with the NIL disparity between everybody else in the country, shout out to Coach Holloway, because he's absolutely doing it over there at Seton Hall. Now, UConn, obviously, those guys we know what they're made of. We know who they can be. Let's take a look at Villanova. Villanova is one of those guys who they can do it as well. St. John's, okay? Creighton. All those teams are going to be battling for the Big East. But obviously, I think that regular season, that's probably going to go to UConn. But what matters is the Big East tournament. 2 months from now, we're going to be talking about that. And I'm so freaking excited for it, because we're going to have shows. Where that show is going to be, I don't know yet. We're going to have live shows during March Madness. Now, not during games, of course. Well, maybe during games if it's a Thursday night or so. You get what I'm saying. Basketball season is going to be over with. We're going to be in full swing covering, or high school basketball anyways. We're going to be in full swing covering college basketball. So, man, I can't tell you just how excited I am for what's about to be going on here. What's about to be going on here with college basketball. But it's exciting, man. Massive shout out to everybody for tuning into the show. Like I said, Green Bay Phoenix, tune into them, man. They're really solid college basketball program, and I need everybody to pay attention to those guys and what they're doing, because I think Doug Gottlieb is doing a really special thing over there in Wisconsin. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We broke down Indiana, Miami. We've got Indiana. We broke down the SEC, the Big 12, Big 10, ACC with Duke. You've got Duke, Clemson, Louisville. Heck, you've got Wake Forest is up there. You have Miami as well. So you've got some good teams that are really making some noise. But guys, man, I can't help but say thank you just for what all's going on this year. I can't help but say thank you. There's fix the technical difficulties we had there, but I can't help but say thank you to everything that's going on. Massive shout out to my guy over here for the refill of sweet tea. That was on point, Skylar. How'd you do that? Man, he's swift. He said he's swift. This guy has an earring of his key. Pretty dope, man. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Massive shout out to all the guys over here in Buffalo Wild Wings. Thank y'all for letting me do the show here. I highly appreciate the guys. Lexi, Skylar, Miss Amber, massive prayers to Miss Amber as well. If you're listening, just pray for Miss Amber at Buffalo Wild Wings. You don't have to know the reason. Just pray for Miss Amber. She's gonna be okay. But we want to give a little. We want to give our praise to her. So or give our praises to her. Excuse me. But yeah, no man. This whole college sports thing, this whole college sports show that I'm trying my best to do, man. I certainly appreciate it, man. We've got a lot of support. We've got a lot of talk behind the scenes. We've got some stuff that we're trying to do. We want to go on the road, man. We do. We want to go. I want to film in different states. Okay, now where at in those different states, I don't necessarily know yet. But I want to film in different states. I want to film at some college basketball arenas. I want to film at some college football venues next year. That's just kind of what I want to do. Okay, college basketball season isn't necessarily coming to an end yet. But we're like right in the middle of the season right now. We're getting closer and closer toward March. In fact, we're about a month and a half away. And man, when I tell you that I'm super, super excited for what's to come, for not only this show, but just college sports in general, I'm excited, man. So please stay tuned. Please stay tuned. We've got a bunch going on, and we're gonna have some talks here with the guys here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We're gonna try and make something happen for the show. So just keep us in your thoughts, okay? We've got it going on over here, and we're trying to make the show the best that it can possibly be. Massive shout out to all the guys here, Mr. Aaron, who's working a job. I see you, Aaron. I see you. Who's also working a job over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, but is also a 5,000-yard rusher for Ragland football, who's also on the Ragland basketball team as well. So, Aaron Lee is a phenomenal player. And hey, Aaron, come here, man. I know you're a little camera shy, but come here. I got to give a little praise to you. So I got to interview Aaron the other night with 94.1 The River, but this guy's absolutely awesome, man. I appreciate you for what you do. Yes, sir. It doesn't go unnoticed. So, yeah, man, that's Aaron Lee of Ragland basketball. If you don't know him, now you need to know him. You need to look up his film, okay, on Huddle. So when it comes to football, when it comes to basketball, the dude's an assist maker. I saw it with my own 2 eyes the other night. Well, 1.5 good working eyes the other night. So, man, shout out to all the athletes, dude. All the high school athletes that I'm getting to cover this year. Massive shout out to them. If you're out there working, you're doing the right thing, man. So, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you guys next week. We will be back next week. Well, hold on. What's next week? Let's see. There's a certain Thursday. No, we will be back next week because it's just the 15th. We will be back next Thursday night for a lot more action. So come on back. We'll have more for you next week. Transfer portal talk as well. So